The first rule they taught us about alien royalty was simple: never meet their eyes unless invited. The second rule was more important. If an alien queen gives you a choice, understand that it is never truly free. I learned both rules too late. The summons arrived while I was still unpacking at the orbital outpost above Velmora Prime. I had been there less than 3 days, assigned as a human liaison to assist with cultural integration after first contact. It was meant to be a quiet posting: observe, translate, report back to Earth. Instead, the Queen of Velmora had requested my presence at her court. Not a delegation. Not a meeting.
Me.
The guards who escorted me to the surface didn't speak. Their armor shimmered like liquid metal, shifting color with every step. As we passed through the capital, I saw towering spires grown from crystal and stone, alive with faint pulses of light. The city felt ancient, watchful, like it remembered every decision ever made within its walls. The palace stood at the city's heart, and at its center sat the queen. Queen Aurelian was not what I expected. She wasn't monstrous or cold or inhuman. She was tall, regal, her features sharp yet graceful, her skin marked with faint glowing lines that traced her lineage. Her eyes were luminous gold, intelligent, piercing, and unsettlingly calm. I knelt as protocol demanded. "You may rise," she said. Her voice carried effortlessly, filling the chamber without echo. The court was silent, dozens of nobles, scholars, and warriors watching me like I was an experiment about to conclude. "You are the human," she said. "The one who survived the crossing alone." "Yes, Your Majesty." "You adapt quickly," she observed. "You listen more than you speak." I waited, heart pounding. She gestured, and 3 figures stepped forward. 3 women, all Velmoran, all strikingly different. The first stood straight and proud, clad in ceremonial armor. Her gaze was sharp, calculating. A commander, I guessed. The second wore flowing robes, her eyes soft, luminous with empathy. I felt calm just standing near her. The third barely looked at me at all. She stood slightly apart, her posture guarded, her expression unreadable. There was a quiet intensity about her, like a star that burned hotter beneath the surface. The queen's gaze never left my face. "Choose one," she said. "She will be yours." The chamber froze. I felt every eye on me. My mouth went dry. "With respect," I said carefully, "I don't understand." "You will," the queen replied. "Velmora stands at a turning point. Our future depends on balance, between tradition and change, between emotion and duty." She leaned forward slightly. "You are an anomaly," she continued. "A human who crossed forbidden space, who survived where others failed. You think differently. You feel differently." Her eyes gleamed. "One of these women will bond with you. Through that bond, we will see which path the future favors." My stomach twisted. "You're asking me to choose a person like they're a symbol." "I am asking you to choose honestly," she corrected. The silence stretched. The first woman met my gaze boldly. The second smiled gently. The third still didn't look at me. I felt something pull in my chest. "May I speak to them?" I asked. The queen considered this. "Briefly," she said. They were brought to a private antechamber. The armored woman spoke first. "I am Caliph. If you choose me, you gain protection, influence, and respect. Together, we would be strong." It sounded like an alliance, not a bond. The second woman inclined her head. "I am Soraya. I believe unity comes from understanding. I would help you find peace here." Her words were kind. Safe. The third woman remained silent. "I'm sorry," I said softly. "I don't know your name." She looked up then, and when our eyes met, something shifted. I am Naira, she said. I did not ask to be here. Then why are you? I asked. Because the queen believes I represent uncertainty, she replied. And she fears it. Caliph scoffed. You represent instability. Naira ignored her. I don't want to be chosen, Naira said quietly. Not like this. Neither did I. When they were escorted away, my mind raced. The queen wasn't offering me a reward. She was testing something, me, them, Velmora itself. I returned to the throne chamber. The queen watched me closely. Have you decided? She asked. My pulse thundered in my ears. I thought of duty, of survival, of the expectations pressing down on me. Then I thought of how Naira had looked at me, not as a tool or a savior, but as someone just as trapped as she was. Slowly, I raised my hand and pointed at her. A ripple of shock swept through the court. Naira stiffened. The queen's eyes narrowed, not in anger, but in fascination. Explain, she commanded. Because she didn't want this, I said. And neither do I. If this choice means anything, it should be about consent, not control. The chamber erupted in murmurs. You defy tradition, the queen said. Yes, I replied. If that's the point of this test, then here's my answer. The queen studied me for a long moment. Then she smiled. The aftermath was chaos. Some nobles called for my removal. Others whispered that the queen had orchestrated the outcome all along. Naira was taken away, not imprisoned, but secluded. I wasn't allowed to see her. Days passed, then weeks. I began to think I had misjudged everything, until the queen summoned me again. You chose uncertainty, she said as we stood alone in the throne chamber. Why? Because certainty that ignores people isn't stability, I answered. It's stagnation. She nodded slowly. Velmora has endured for millennia, she said. But endurance is not the same as growth. She turned toward a side chamber. Come. Naira stood inside, free of ceremonial markings, dressed simply. She looked lighter. You are not bound, the queen said to her. Nor is he. Naira stared. Then why? Because the choice was never about marriage, the queen said. It was about values. She faced me. You showed us a future where power listens, she said. Where choice matters. The queen straightened. You may remain on Velmora or you may leave. Together or apart. That decision is now truly yours. For the first time since arriving, I felt the weight lift. I turned to Naira. No pressure, I said quietly. Whatever you want. She studied me for a long moment. Then she smiled. Let's start with staying, she said. And choosing each other slowly. The queen watched us go. Later, I learned that Velmora began to change, not overnight but steadily. Bonds became partnerships. Tradition made room for voice. And whenever people asked what caused it, they spoke of treaties and reforms. But I knew the truth. It began the moment the queen made me choose. And I chose a future that chose back.